Okay, what's going on? I got a text message from a very, very close friend. Not even a friend, a brother. He might as well be blood. And he sent me, and he always sends me random text messages here and there, just to make sure I'm alive. But this one, he sent out a chain text message, and the question was, if MLK and Malcolm X were alive today, would they be happy with what they see? You know, yes or no. No maybes, yes or no. And I was thinking, you know, some people might say yes. You have a black president. You know, you do have a black, a middle class that goes unrecognized. You have blacks in prominent positions. Okay, so some might say yes, you know, they would be happy. I would say no. I would say no, because I feel like the whole point of the civil rights movement and affirmative action and all these other things that people sacrifice for, even though they didn't really have to, okay, they had the tools to make sure that their families were okay. And, you know, they sacrificed for something that they didn't even take part of, okay? All right, they did it, to me, not so we can sit up here and boast about our degrees and, you know, our condos and the cars we drive and our lifestyles and how many women we get or how many men want to get with us, as far as the women go, but they did so that we can do well, okay, academically and professionally, so that we can build families and build wealth, not just financial wealth, but informational wealth. Okay, the strong families, what makes them strong in terms of wealth is that, yes, they pass on financial wealth, but they pass on informational wealth. So you look at Donald Trump and you look at his kids, okay? His kids aren't just doing well because, you know, Trump, of course, gave him some of his money and they passed it on, but they understand what their father knows in terms of real estate. So just imagine, they know, so when they marry and have kids, their kids are going to know. So they're keeping the money in-house and they're keeping the information in-house. They don't need to go off and hire somebody. They're going to keep it in-house. So to me, the fact that black professionals are the least likely to have children, strong black families, out of other minorities and just out of other people who fall into that group would definitely be something that they shook their heads over. I mean, think about it. You know, Sergeant Willie Pete made a point. Like I said before, if you guys don't know, he is back on Generation X. But he was talking about how it's pretty much in vain. Okay, how is it that you're only going to have like maybe one or two generations to really take advantage of, you know, getting good jobs and having different opportunities available, but they don't pass anything on? It's going to die out. So literally, you'll have this whole civil rights movement, you know, and just the whole momentum that was slowly building up after slavery go to waste, simply because we have young black men and women who feel as if the whole idea of the family and passing something on and humbling yourself is weak, and you have to stand out and you have to be that individual. So at the end of the day, I would say they would say a big no. They'd be extremely upset with what's going on. They would look at Obama and they would probably point out, yes, you see a black man and a black woman doing well in terms of profession and academics, but what you see that is more important is that they have a family. Okay, so his daughters are going to move on to do something great. They're going to surround themselves with other people who are doing great, hopefully marry black men who are doing great, and they're going to pass on a legacy. They're going to pass on informational wealth and, of course, monetary wealth. And that's what they would highlight, and that's what we're missing. That is what we're missing. And to me, I would say both sides are a little bit guilty of what's going on. Okay? It's really painful that this so-called people who get it in terms of, you know, thinking outside the box, or at least doing a better job than the others, fail to realize what's going on. You know, we come on and we talk about how the divorce rate is going up and the decline of the family is going up. Yeah, but I would say that in terms of strong minority groups and just strong families who are protecting something, they're going to be okay. Okay, so there's going to be pockets of families doing well because they understand that wealth means power and they want to keep it in-house. And it's upsetting to me that we are going to be on the outside looking in. Okay, we talk about, the family going down, but you're going to look at certain segments of the white community and other minorities who kick ass academically and professionally, keep their family structure intact, while the rest of the world is going, or America is going into chaos. They're probably going to be there to clean up. And just thinking about how things are now, as it stands right now, we are clearly on the outside of that. Okay, we're sitting there so caught up in me, and then trying to throw something together at the last second that we don't realize what's going on. Really, we don't. Yeah, and it's unfortunate, because the people who sacrifice for us are still around. Okay, the fact that you can still talk to somebody who, marched with Martin Luther King, or just remembers how things were pre-civil rights, are still around, and they can tell you how things are and what the plan was and what they envisioned. To me, the true strength of the black community right now, okay, the true strength isn't professional black women, it isn't even professional black men. It is the grandparents and the great-great-grandparents who are still around, because they came from a time where they understood that the power came from the family. That is the true strength. That is the reason why you see so many single black women, single mothers acting as if they're kicking ass. Because it's really their grandparents holding them down. They are the key, because they understood that, hey, you need financial wealth, but you also need the family unit. They were unable to gain some of the financial strength that they wanted to, simply because of limited opportunities, but they understood the second part. And it's unfortunate that it's reversed. Now we have the opportunity to gain financially, but we don't understand that we have to keep the family intact. That's what makes you truly powerful. That's what makes other minorities so powerful. And it pains me how many people don't see it. What makes Asian culture, Middle Eastern culture so strong isn't because their men stand apart and their women stand apart, and it's a battle in terms of who's doing well and who's making more and who has more power. It's because they pool their resources, not only with their family but their extended family. That's what makes them so strong. But we're sitting here on the outside acting as if it's the individual that's really going to change the game up, when eventually we will die and we have nothing to pass our assets on to. Okay, we have no one to pass our information on to. We have no one to pass our wealth on to. So at the end of the day, I think people really have to sit down and evaluate what's going on. Okay, because what it pains me, because we'll come on and we'll talk about relationships, but people don't get me. I'm just not talking about who is with who and who's happy. I'm talking about being with people and forming strong black families. Forming something that will outlive us. Starting a momentum that will outlive us. Something bigger than us. Not just us, but people don't understand that. Y'all thinking about the now. I'm 20-something. I'm 30-something. I'm talking about when you're 40, 50, 60, 70. And you looking back. Like I said before to the dudes, who act as if they need to do away with marriage. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that we have to fix some things in terms of marriage and relationships, but I never said do away with it. Okay, you have men who act as if they're going to be okay. Trust me, you don't want to be that 40, 45-year-old dude with no family. You want to be that guy who's 40, 45 going to their son or daughter's graduation. That's who you want to be. Going to your son's games, doing this and the third. Okay, you want to be that dude where your son calls you up, hey dad, let's go get lunch. You don't want to be that single dude who feels like he was right. Single and alone. You don't want to be that person. And as far as the women, what more can I say? Look at what's going on around you. You are the least likely, especially if you're professional, to be married and have a strong family. Now, it's a reflection on the men as well. But what does that say? Because a lot of you guys have embraced it, and you have articles in Ebony Magazine and all these other, quote-unquote pro-black women force-feeding you this whole idea that you don't need a black family to be happy. You can be happy with your job and your career and your fancy clothes. Ain't that some shit? And a lot of y'all are just buying into it. Or acting as if, your career is more important than your family, and once you have your career together, somehow you can buy the proper family. So you should pay as little attention to that area of your life as possible. Y'all need to wake up, man. Real talk, like, it's really pathetic if you really truly think about it. So you guys take it easy. God bless.